Accidental inventions that changed the world. Potato chips. The day was August 24, 1853, when a pesky customer kept sending back his fried potatoes, complaining that they were too thick. George Crumb, the cook at Moon's Lake House, got frustrated. He then decided to slice the potatoes razor thin, fry them to a crisp, and drench them in salt. To Crumb's surprise, the customer loved them, and potato chips were born. Microwaves. In 1945, one day at work, Perry Spencer, an American engineer, accidentally discovered the heating effect of a microwave beam because it melted the chocolate bar he had in his pocket. With this new insight, he began cooking food, first popcorn and then an egg, which exploded in the face of one of the experimenters. A few years later, the first available microwave oven was in stores. It was almost 6 feet tall and weighed 750 pounds. Popsicles. In 1905, 11-year-old Frank Epperson from San Francisco, California, accidentally invented popsicles. On one cold evening, Frank was stirring a mixture of powdered soda water with a stick and accidentally left it on the porch. He woke up to find the mixture frozen to the stick. He called it the Epsicle, but later he sold the rights to a company named Joe Low in New York City. X-rays. German physicist Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen accidentally discovered X-rays in 1895. He was working with a cathode ray tube in his laboratory. He noticed a fluorescent glow on a table nearby. He then covered the tube with heavy black paper and discovered that a green-colored light was still being emitted. He then discovered that the ray could pass through the tissue of humans, but not bones nor metal. He then proved this by taking photos of his wife's hand. His discovery was labeled a scientific and medical miracle. Superglue. This incredibly sticky substance was originally discovered in 1942 by Dr. Harry Coover. He was attempting to make clear plastic gun sights for soldiers in World War II and noticed that one of his failed formulas was an extremely powerful glue. Surprisingly, Coover abandoned his discovery as it wasn't suitable for his current project. Over 15 years passed before superglue was finally put on the market by his employer, Eastman Kodak. Velcro. In 1948, a Swiss engineer by the name of George de Mestral discovered Velcro when he took a close look at the burrs which kept sticking to his clothes and his dog's fur. Under a microscope, he noticed that they had tiny hooks. Realizing the potential of the burr's design, he set out to replicate it for commercial use. He first met with ridicule, but stuck to his idea, and almost a decade later, Velcro was selling worldwide. Post-it notes. In 1970, a chemist named Spencer Silver was working in a laboratory trying to develop a strong glue. Ironically, he did just the opposite and created a weaker glue. He discovered that the glue was strong enough to hold paper together but wouldn't rip when pulled apart. 4 years later, a friend used his glue to stick papers in his book, and the Post-it note was born. Today, it's one of the most popular office products available. Matches. Up until the first half of the 19th century, making fire was slow and tedious. But in 1826, a chemist named John Walker set out to change that. One day, while he was preparing a lighting mixture, a stick which had been dipped in it accidentally caught fire when scraped on his fireplace. He went on to invent the first friction match. Unfortunately, Walker did not patent his invention, and as a result, Samuel Jones copied his idea and marketed them as lucifers. Viagra. This well-known pill was developed accidentally by scientists at Pfizer Laboratories. Dr. Brian Klee explains, "Originally, we were testing sildenafil, the active drug in Viagra, as a cardiovascular drug and for its ability to lower blood pressure. But people didn't want to give the medication back because of the side effect of having erections that were harder, firmer, and lasted longer. Since its approval, Viagra has been used by 35 million men around the world." LSD. Albert Hofmann was a Swiss scientist trying to create a respiratory stimulant with no effects on the uterus. But on April 16, 1943, he accidentally absorbed a small quantity through his fingertips and discovered its powerful effects. He described what he felt. "I lay down and sank into a not unpleasant intoxicated-like condition, characterized by an extremely stimulated imagination. I perceived an uninterrupted stream of fantastic pictures, extraordinary shapes with intense, kaleidoscopic play of colors." On October 24, 1968, possession of LSD was banned in the United States, and the rest is history.